E.Duff, and my film is Hand and Asha, and I'm the director and also the co-writer and co-producer.
So tell us a little bit about your film process and how you ended up in Thessaloniki.
Well, that's a very good question. I ended up in Thessaloniki. This is my first feature film, and the genesis of it is my wife and I were teaching at a film school in Prague, and we were feeling lonely and isolated, and we wanted to make a film about the thrill of making a deep, meaningful connection with someone entirely different from you, on a different country or continent perhaps. And we thought about times in our past when we were in Prague feeling lonely and isolated, and times in our past where we actually used to write letters. And that connection, you sit down and you write a letter, you take the time to think about it, and the anticipation of sending it and getting it back, and you kind of project who you want to be into that letter, and you kind of fantasize who that other person is. And it can get you through a rough time in your life. And so we wanted to update that to 2013 for video messages. And I had a friend who actually courted his wife by making her these little films, and he let us watch the movies, and they were really intimate, surprisingly interesting, and you were like in a window in this guy's life, like you're in his footsteps. So that's the premise of the film, and it's a romance between an Indian woman in Prague and a lonely New Yorker, and she reaches out to him through video messages, and they end up falling in love through this correspondence, and they have to decide whether or not to meet and to cement it or not.
So where's the is there like the moment of drama? Where's the real kind of, because certainly we all understand that longing and Skype these days and all that. So how have you been able to build a script around that more and more?
Yeah. Well, there is, and unfortunately I can't tell you the tension because it's a surprise. It's not a surprise, but it's inherent in the story. But it's any tension that comes when you make a connection with someone that could be a fantasy, or is it fantasy or real? And do you meet that person and find out if the fantasy is real? Do you want to break that spell? Or do you want to keep that relationship for the moment, and it might not last, but to cherish it for a lifetime? So there's specific tensions that I can't get into, but that's the tension that we all face.
Fantastic. And how did you end up at this festival here?
Yeah, well, we premiered in the States. We won the Audience Award at Slam Dance. We've won 3 Audience Awards, a couple jury awards, and so we had that kind of cachet behind us. And you know, this is a great festival. Thessaloniki is one of the premier festivals in Europe, and we're so fortunate to be able to play here, and it was such a thrill because it's such a micro-budget movie, and it's such a thrill to be here amongst these great movies.
How did you raise your funds?
It was all private because if I told you this budget, you'd be really surprised.
I'd love to hear you if you have no qualms sharing
it's
that.
much less than 6 figures, much less.
Fantastic.
And so it's basically privately funded, and we don't owe anybody their money back. So few people invested so little money.
And what did you shoot on?
5D.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And different lenses? Did you?
It was the 24-105, and our DP's killer and is a wizard at the 5D, and it looks great. She won a cinematography award at one festival, so it really looks good. I mean, they're messages, but it's cinematic.
Fantastic. And what's next in line with your film festival life for this film?
Well, my wife is my partner, co-producer, co-writer, and she is right now in Indie Memphis, which is a great festival in the States. We're opening at Naples, and we got about playing at Napa, then we have a series of festivals in the spring, but that's kind of the life of it. We do have a digital distributor, and doing it.
Who is it?
It's FilmRise.
Okay.
It's a new company. It's Danny Fisher, who used to be City Lights Media. He has a new company, and we're going to do a limited theatrical in the spring, and then digital distribution, like so Netflix and across the board in like March, April.
And who's doing your festival who's doing your festival submissions?
Me.
Fantastic. So how timely is that for you?
It is unbelievably time consuming. I wish I had somebody to do it for me.
You do, eh?
Oh, it's so, I mean, because each festival is different, and if you're lucky enough to get accepted, then you have to do, specific formats for photographs and synopsis. So every festival takes some time.
Are you using an online submission form?
Oh yeah, it's without a box.
Okay, fantastic.
Generally without a box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best. And
Thank you.
one more question.
Sure.
What's your next project about? Are you already there yet?
We've completed a draft. We're not quite ready to raise money, but we have it in the works, and pretty much in the spring, once this is kind of winding down, because this is all consuming, we're going to get going on it. So.
Oh, I wish you all the best, and
you.
I can't wait to see your film.
Appreciate it. Hope you see it.
Yeah, and just because this might go on before your next film, when is it?
It's Monday at 12:15. No, excuse me, Monday at 3:15 and Tuesday at 12:15.
November 4th and November 5th.
November 4th, November 5th, November 4th at 3:15, November 5th at 12:15.
Thank you so much, and bon chance.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, this is James Duff for filmfestivals.com. Go to the movies, everybody.